Welcome to Storytime with Gena. I'll be your Gena this evening. To my left is the illustrious Mr. Spanglebear.
Hello.
And to my right is Mr. Greg Lintz.
Thanks for allowing me on.
Greg Lintz, we need a better nickname for you.
Scumbag Republican.
Scumbag Republican Greg Lintz.
Scumbear Republican.
Scumbear. I dig that a little bit in the twisted ways.
Yeah.
So...
You call me Spanglebear, you're Gena Bear, and that's Scumbear.
All right, then.
It's going to be my Ashley Madison profile name.
My goodness.
Ashley Madison.
Yeah, speaking of the decline of society,
Right.
and all things evil and awful and terrible, Gena has had to give up the pots.
What?
Yes.
You're no longer a weed toker?
I have had to give up the pots. It destroys me to say so.
I will say you do look more refreshed and less paranoid.
Yeah, that's arguable.
Her glaucoma
At best.
cured itself.
Yeah.
It is a Christmas miracle.
Right.
Her
Perhaps.
sciatica is acting up something fierce right now, though.
Yeah, well, I do have that left leg that's just dying to kick somebody. But, you know, so far so good. So far it's under control. But yeah, so with all of my adventures as of late, it's become very clear to me that I stumbled upon some very corrupted pots.
I wondered.
Yeah, so during my journeys, children do not fuck with corrupted pots. It is a bad thing.
You know what? I just realized you didn't curse that entire episode.
I
of Weird
did
Libertarians.
drop. I think I said shit
You
at least
did,
once.
but it was so quiet that I'm not even going to bother editing it out.
Excellent. I agree.
Too
You
lazy.
shouldn't. You
But-
shouldn't.
Yeah, so do you believe that many of your recent troubles were facilitated by bad weed?
You know, personally, I do, but we're in the middle of battling that out with the state, so
Right.
we'll see how that goes.
We touched on that last time. Greg, did you have a chance to listen to the last episode?
I have not. I have it bookmarked, but I haven't actually listened to it
Oh,
yet.
my God.
I am very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was an awesome adventure in Gena-land.
Gina's been through some shit.
Yeah.
Her own personal nom.
I
if
told
you
her,
will.
don't buy unkosher pot. I
Yeah.
said outside, it has to be kosher. A Jew has to bless it, and then it's good.
I totally
It's part
agree.
of a Zionist conspiracy.
So only kosher pot, my children. And to that extent, I'm still a very big proponent for legalization, but at the same time, I'm cautious of whom is capable of cultivating and distributing.
See, I
such
think
products.
if it were legal, you'd have more reliable pot sources as opposed to the black market stuff, which may have been laced with PCP.
Racist.
Right, but at the same time, you could also have things that are engineered poorly, like...
I'm sorry, the white market.
There we
Or
go.
as I like to refer to it, Trader Joe's.
Right. Trader Joe's pot would probably be okay. It sounds like it's more organic than the
Right.
genetically modified Aldi pot. But
So what led up to your decision?
well, once DCS got involved, that was part of their terms. And so DCS right now is having a really interesting impact on the decisions that Gena is making.
I wondered who was up your ass right now.
Yeah, so as a result of DCS and their inquisition, it turns out, so this entire time we've been avoiding the divorce and the dissolution of the marriage, even though the relationship had kind of, I don't know, the relationship had a bit of a breakdown in communication.
Yeah, we had talked about that on a previous episode.
Right, so as it stands, we still are going to probably cohabitate in order to raise our children together. We're still going to be a parenting team, but
Right.
we're now we're investigating the possibility of filing for an annulment,
Okay.
which is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, because DCS has indicated that my husband will be held responsible for my actions and my behavior with my children because I have no idea what their grounds are. However, we have concurred that if the legal state situation is that a judge has granted me my parenting time, as I would be entitled to,
Right.
after the dissolution of the marriage, that he can no longer be held accountable for my actions.
So how would they deal with it if you two are not married but you live in the same place?
That's not something for the state to decide. The
Okay.
state can't determine where.
But if you're married, they can.
Right.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Which is why
You'd think it'd be the other way around.
Right, which is why we're going about it this way.
Right.
So
So suck on that.
It's
So
more of
up
a
in-
papal question.
Right.
It's time to call the Pope.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
well,
Pope would be down. This Pope would be down with whatever you're up to, Gena.
we'll see. I am not sure about the Pope or the papacy. That's you guys in religion know a lot more about that
He's
than I
the
do.
man of the year, okay?
Is that what I've heard?
He is. He's the Time Man of the Year. He likes to take selfies. He said, hey, if you're gay, that's cool with me.
It's a distinction he holds with Hitler, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And Arafat. So at this point, you two are moving forward with the annulment.
Well, we're investigating.
Looking into it. Okay. Yeah, to see what's up. Yeah. So you want to give a recap for Greg's sake how the DCS got involved in all this, or is that where do you want to take it there? I mean, he kind of knows the details a little bit, but
I had a period of days where I was awake, which is where I'm assuming that I got a hold of the bad pots. Mm-hmm. And again, it kills me to give up the pots.
I know.
It breaks my heart because I love the pots. Like it is my God-given right to ingest the pots.
And you don't mean pot roast, you mean marijuana?
I do mean marijuana.
Right.
So I had my last dance with Mary Jane.
Is that where you got that hat at the pot store?
No, I actually got this hat from a woman who is very dear to me, and
it looks like a Bob Marley hat.
Does it?
It does.
No, it's actually a Tia hat, if you will.
Tila Tequila?
No, actually, this is a very good auntie that has hooked me up with this hat. Do you remember when I was running and we had the practice run and you asked me if I had any regrets and I said no?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it may have sounded arrogant at the time because I've definitely made mistakes in my lifetime.
Right.
But they're not things that I regret. They're things that I learned from. So the young lady who actually procured me this hat is a dear person to me, and at one point in time I made a decision in order to spare her unnecessary grief that caused her a great deal of additional grief.
Right.
And so for me it was a learning lesson in how good intentions can lead to really negative, dire consequences, whether you're aware of it or not.
Right.
So it's kind of it's a hat of it's a hat of remembrance.
It's like it's like your yarmulke.
Possibly, yeah.
Just when you're wearing it, you keep things in mind.
Yeah, well.
So, what?
No.
So, all right. Back to weed.
Yes.
Do you have any left over for Harry?
No, I have none. I have not been in possession of marijuana personally for weeks.
Okay, all right. So you're weeks sober then. Weeks.
Well, I've been with friends who have been partaking, and I won't say no necessarily, but I've not purchased any myself in a very long time.
When was the last time that you were medicated, if you can say?
Oh, I'm under medication based upon
Well,
the
but you know what I mean.
Oh, it's been a while.
Herbal medication.
Yeah, no, we won't go into the dates on that, but it's been a while.
All right. So,
and I'm bad with dates. I couldn't even tell you. I've got friends that could tell you dates, though. They're good at that.
But do you feel better? I mean, what is the physiological effect?
I feel horrible. It rips a piece of my soul asunder to have to give up the pots. You have no idea what kind of torment this causes a person such as Gena to be without the weeds.
Why?
It quiets the mind.
I've never done it, so I wouldn't know. But what does it do to you? Why does it make you sad? What's happening? Tell me about it.
I'm a fucking American citizen. It's my right
to smoke weed,
to toke upon the gifts that God gave to me.
I know, but I don't understand what does it do for you that makes it so intolerable not to have it?
Think of every woman in your life and that moment where you're in private and she flips the fuck out on you and you really don't know why and you're standing there cross-eyed thinking, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
The weeds prevent that.
Okay. So that's why the annulment.
Well, honestly, the annulment absolutely would not have come to be if it hadn't been for DCS and their involvement.
Right.
So
the government
yes.
is breaking up families. Shocking.
Right.
So how do you feel about this? I mean, is this something that you're okay with?
I am. I'm okay with it because I know that the core of my relationship with the father of my children is a strong relationship. I know that he will always be there to keep my children safe and do what is in their best interest, in as much as he's capable of. And I know that he and I forged a partnership 10 years ago that will not crumble based upon any piece of paper, be it the piece of paper that we sign to form a union or the piece of paper that we'll sign to state that was null. Nothing will change the course of history. Nothing will change the future of our family. But to me, it is a testament of how much support we have from one another, that we can go through something like this and still maintain a partnership of sorts.
I mean, you feel persecuted a little bit. I mean, we talked about this in the last episode, but DCS is involved because of a couple incidents, and you feel that you've been railroaded without recourse, essentially, and abused by a system of incompetence.
Well, it's an interesting system. At the moment, we are absolutely investigating. Like we are creating precedents in my case right now. The county where I was committed essentially has never seen or at least my attorney has never seen an appeal for such a scenario, and I'm the first in that county to file an appeal. So when it's all said and done, I'll end up being an outspoken advocate on behalf of mental health reform, based upon the situation that we have right now. Because the situation that we have right now is literally two men who've known you less than 10 minutes can determine your entire fate. So to me, that's unjust. And you know how it is when there's an injustice in Gena's ass. The whole world knows about it. So
that's where she keeps them. She keeps all of her injustices in her ass. Some people in their purse, some people on Facebook. She keeps her injustices in her ass.
I keep my injustices sprinkled all about. You'd be surprised where my injustices lie. But yeah, so that's the course of things. Government has always played a big role in my life, and today is no different. So we'll see how it all works out. How
has baby daddy been through all of this stuff?
Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. If it weren't for just a handful of things, I would really be stressed over the fact that we have to dissolve the union.
You'd be this close to rewifing him.
Yes, I would be this close to rewifing him because he was so fucking good.
Right.
And to be honest with you, under all the stress that he was under, there was really only one day that he acted up enough to remind me of the breakdown in the situation, which is really quite remarkable and incredible for any man in that circumstance or situation. But as always is, you give a gentleman enough fire water and he'll make poor decisions. I've seen it happen time after time.
Right.
So
some of them to you.
Yeah, right. So it's nothing that couldn't be forgiven or overlooked, absolutely. But at the circumstances being what they are, we're going to continue with our relationship as it is and modify what it appears to be.
And as we did previously discussed, I mean, your relationship really is one of friendship and parenting. More parenting than friendship, but the romantic element of it, it's been years since there's been a romantic element to it.
And that's not to say there hasn't been intimacy, but there certainly hasn't been romance.
Yeah.
And not not that kind of intimacy. Like right now I'm intimate with Greg over here on the love seat.
Right. I wonder why his wiener was out.
Yeah, well, Greg's wiener's not out, people, for the record.
It's not.
It's theater of the mind.
All right,
please, this is the wall
let
after
your
dark.
Minds take you there.
Right. Let me get a photo of Greg. Photoshop on a wiener. So. Not saying you don't have one, Greg. I'm just saying.
That's all right. I'm a tucker.
We'll Photoshop on him. Right. So.
Damn it, we could see your wiener if you didn't tuck it all the time.
I don't know if you ever saw Silence of the Lambs, but I'd fuck me.
Are you a pretty girl?
Totally fuck me. I don't know. I might not fuck me. I don't know. I really don't put out for me that often. So.
Yeah. Come on, Gena, treat yourself.
Right, yeah. Every once in a while.
So what else is going on?
Those are the biggest things in the life of the Midwestern home life of Midwestern housewife.
Those are two pretty big sacrifices. One, obviously, way more staying in a relationship that's not intimate or not physical. Yeah, not an attraction-based relationship for the good of your kids, and then the other one's something that's pretty near and dear to your heart.
My weeds.
Like if I asked Greg what was up. What have you been up to lately? Greg would say, nothing, just working.
You might have work things.
Went to a concert, enjoyed I'm on a podcast. We're off for a break.
I'm very boring.
I'm like, hey, Gena, what's up with you lately? Well, I got checked into a mental hospital. DCS is up my ass. Getting divorced. Gave up weed.
And yet our demeanors are remarkably alike.
Exactly the same, yeah.
Theater of the living
right
here, folks. So, yeah.
But that's why this is not story time with Greg Lenz.
Because I wouldn't listen. No one would listen.
I don't think anybody listens to this either, so
no, that's
don't
not
feel
true.
bad.
We have tens and tens of listeners.
Twos and twos of listeners are lining up.
Listen, you don't promote your own podcast. If you did, we might have more, but we have a healthy subscriber base that continues to grow. So
well, that's cool. At least people are listening. So yeah, I mean, it's a situation that for a lot of people would probably be a big deal. But like you said, I roll with this. I'm just going with the swing of things.
Well,
rolling with the changes.
We have to wrap up here, but
yes, we do, because I have to go be a good co-parent.
As we do with every successful episode, Gena, what have you learned?
What have I learned? I have learned to stick it to Damon. Aw, go Mittens. Mittens is snuggled up on my coat right now.
Yeah.
And only buy kosher pot, kids.
Right.
Yes. Only buy kosher pot. You have to definitely be aware of where your pots are coming from.
She heard there was unused weed, so she is digging through that coat like you wouldn't believe.
No, she will not find any there.
So, all right. So, what have you learned, Gena Bear?
I have learned that resourcefulness is everything in life, and I have resources like you could not fathom. And I got a lot of people that support me, whether they're aware of it or not, and that pretty much no challenge in life is insurmountable.
Good.
And peace is always the answer, of course. World peace.
Right.
Because it's Christmas season. Let's talk about the holidays, guys.
Boo.
World peace. World peace is the answer, and that starts at home.
Well, Gena Bear.
Yes, darling.
I speak for everyone in this room, especially Mittens.
Especially Mittens.
We're glad you're doing better.
Well, thank you.
I personally, that's kind of what I thought, because you probably you had mentioned to me in the past that you didn't buy that often.
Yeah, I just don't have the budget.
Right, and so you probably had one stash that you used over this time period of paranoia that was whacking you out a little bit, and you have, the last 2 times I have seen you, you've been great.
Yeah.
Like, you really, there was a point where we as a group kind of said, what can we do to help Gena? Should we get involved? Because we're a little worried.
See, and I've got friends everywhere that were so concerned about me that they were wondering what
we, of course, did not make
take.
the effort to do a thing for you.
Of course, I appreciate that more than you could imagine, because those that did are...
But it's the thought that counts.
Right. It's the thought. It's the Christmas season. We were worried about you, but we just silently watched.
Well, we were just, are we going to find a new co-host?
Right.
It was really more about self-preservation. Like, can we get story time with Maya going? So
you could have.
So we as a group are very glad that you're doing better. We're glad that you're kind of found a little bit of peace and that you're not as, manic.
Yeah, I don't know that manic was the word so much as it would be difficult to describe the kinds of things that I experienced, and I'm still sitting on that. I have a deep distrust of electronics still.
I know.
But
yeah, there was a whole... we never really got into what was going on. We kind of brushed by what the summer was like, but we didn't really get into it, so we ought to do that at some point.
Yeah, we might. We might. We'll see how things go. But for the time being, what struggles I do have, I have a game plan for how to maneuver my way through those, and I'm just going to keep on trucking like I always do.
Well, we're here for you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. What's going on in Spangleland?
Spangleland is great. This new job is the summation of all of my previous careers. I mean, I really feel that there's been a plan outlined for me, and I'm just fortunate to kind of be in a place now where all the stuff that I've done that I have enjoyed have led to a job that I could not be more excited about. I mean, when I was 8 years old, I wanted to go into radio after hearing War of the Worlds with Orson Welles. It was a Christmas. It was Halloween. I was playing outside, listening to that, and it scared the shit out of me.
Oh no!
And I thought, wow, something 75 years old can scare me and move me like that just by listening to it. I want to get into that, and I wanted to get into radio. I've listened to Bob and Tom my entire life. I wanted to grow up and go and be either Bob or Tom Carnegie from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
One or the other.
Right. And, I don't know that I'd want to be any of those three at this point, but to work for them is an unbelievable privilege. I mean, it's really just been 2 months of walking around pinching myself that this is happening. So
that's awesome.
Very, very excited.
So your dreams have been fulfilled, sir.
Yeah, I'm on a really nice string of dream jobs.
Nice.
I truly am.
It's the secret.
Yep, it's the secret. So at some point I'm going to work in a job I hate, but I hope not. So, I mean, from radio to Libertarian Party to where I work now and at the Speedway along the way, it's just, if I died right now, I'd be a happy man with a great wife, 2 cats I love, podcast friends that I love, jobs that I love.
Exactly.
So, very, very happy.
Well, cool.
And content.
I got to wrap up here in just a minute, but Greg, what's going on for you?
Nada.
Just nada?
Nada.
Well done, sir.
Nada. Same old, same old.
You just had
all
a
under the
reunion.
thinking cap.
I did. I had a reunion.
Anybody?
I am not working. I'm doing what I mean, obviously I like doing it, but it's helped me bring into perspective what I actually like doing, and
Right.
I am. I like it. It's okay.
Yeah.
it's fun.
See, we need to get Greg a wife
No,
and a bunch of kids.
Yeah, I don't know about all
No.
that.
absolutely not.
Greg's not on board.
I know.
The baby train.
But, so anybody look exquisite or look hideous at your reunion? Any good stories from the reunion?
Only good story really is that I found it remarkably shocking that none of the women brought their husbands.
None of them?
Not, I mean, maybe a handful.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Not complaining.
Yeah.
It turned out quite.
Tug jobs in the bathroom for everybody.
Well, I mean, just saying it wasn't all bad, but it was fun. It was fun.
Nice.
Weird.
Well, we promise next week to do actual issues, but today we wanted to just catch everybody up to speed on the life-altering chasm of despair that is giving up the weeds.
Oh, Gena Bear.
No, I'm just saying. But anyway, I'll
I'm going
continue.
to send you home with some oregano. Smoke that. See if it works.
Oh, I've tried it. It's no good. I stay out of the spice cabinet, Spangle Bear.
I've got
It's a placebo.
Right?
Mittens can give up some cat grass.
Aw. Well, to that end, we will see you guys next week. Is that when we're recording again?
Yep. Hopefully, maybe not next Saturday, but next week at some point. We probably Thursday or Friday. But in the meantime, say goodnight, Gena.
Good night, Gena.